Oh, hey, sorry. I didn't see you there. My name is Joe. You're probably wondering what this little device is. Well, this is the Sony PSP Go, and it's a very expensive paperweight. Or so I thought. It's also a clock.
Sony once created something that was both amazing and mind-blowing. A console that stood apart from everything else on the market and changed handheld gaming as we knew it. This handheld device felt like the next big step in portable gaming. It offered console quality games like we never imagined would be possible for such a compact device. It managed to fit into our lives instead of us changing our lifestyles to make it fit. It was truly something amazing, and I wish you could have been there to see it.
But that's enough about the PS Vita. Let's talk about the real reason we are here.
We actually have a couple names for this beautiful little device. First, we call it the worst kept secret of E3. And we call it
the PSP Go, a console that makes me think, what the hell was Sony thinking at the time? Yet, I still really like it. It was Sony's first big attempt at an all-digital console. In some aspects, it makes the console as great as it is, and in other aspects, it might have caused it to fail. The PSP Go was nothing more than a revised version of the already popular and near-perfect PSP. It was released in North America and European territories on the 1st of October 2009 and was released a month later in Japan. Its design was intended for the next generation of PlayStation portable consoles, but due to overheating issues, they decided to change the design of the next generation console back to a design similar to the original PSP and used the scrapped next-gen design for a new version of the PlayStation Portable, titled Model PSP N1000. The PSP Go can do most of the things the original PSP could do. You can listen to music, look at photos, watch a movie, connect to the interweb, flick through the menu to listen to the clicking noise it makes, and even play games.
Wow, that's so cool! Oh wait, I need the games to play them.
The biggest difference between the two devices lay in the design, which also influenced a few other factors. Instead of being a long boy like the previous versions of the PSP, the device had a smaller sliding design, which was 56% smaller and 43% lighter than the original PSP. At the top of the console, you have a brightness, volume and mute buttons, and the L&R shoulder buttons. On the front of the console, you have two speakers for maximum audio blasting power to be delivered straight to your face, as well as to allow audio to be played even when the device is in its fetal position. The device has a massive 3.8-inch LCD display that outputs 480 by 272 pixels and isn't touchscreen because touchscreen controls suck. Next to the screen is a non-offensive looking home button.
Home.
When you flip the device over, you discover that there is no rear touchpad like the PS Vita, which is good because rear touchpads also suck. At the bottom of the console, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack, as well as an input for Sony's proprietary charger for the device. They kind of get a pass for adding the proprietary charger to the device, as it allows for video and sound output, using the right connections, such as the PSP Go Cradle, which allowed the device to connect to your TV while also charging it. On one side of the device, there's a power button that can be slid up to power on or switch off the console, or it can be switched down to the hold position to disable inputs from the buttons, which is helpful for when you're listening to Blink-182 with the device in your pocket, but bad for boss fights. On the other side is another sliding button that toggles the wireless feature of the device, and a slot to insert an overpriced proprietary memory card. Sliding the device open reveals all the traditional PSP buttons we've come to know and love over the years, as well as a joystick that feels flat, but it works okay. The buttons can feel a bit small, especially for me and 90% of other YouTubers, as we all have big hands.
Ooh la la!
Even with the tighter layout of the buttons, I have never found the device to be uncomfortable, even during long play sessions. And this is mostly due to its lightweight, weighing only
less than your mom.
You can also connect a PlayStation 3 controller to the device due to the added Bluetooth functionality, which is why it is nice that you can continue the game even when sliding the device back to its fetal position. The design of the PSP Go is much more sleek, ergonomic, and portable compared to the previous iterations of the PSP, fitting more easily into your pocket than the PS Vita or even the PlayStation 3.
Yep, I'm right about this one.
This new design does have its downsides, as they took away the ability to remove the console's battery, as well as ditching the UMD drive from the system, and instead went with an all-digital console, which made a lot of people very mad.
Including me. But that's okay, I've forgiven them.
Removing the UMD drive basically region-locked the PSP Go to a single region, as you could only connect a single PlayStation Network account to the system at a time. For some time, there were talks about bringing out a program that would convert your UMDs into digital content or allow you to trade your UMDs for digital content to play on your PSP Go, or something like that. But then, Sony ultimately decided to abandon the idea due to licensing issues. Due to some games not being released digitally, we also ended up not being able to play some of the best titles and videos of the PSP on the PSP Go. Instead, you would have to build up an entirely new catalog of digital games if you wanted to utilize the system properly. In order to accommodate for the console being digital only, the PSP Go has 16GB of built-in memory, which can be further expanded by using an overpriced proprietary memory card.
Hey, at least Sony is consistent.
Even with its flaws, the PSP Go has been one of my favorite versions of the PSP console, mostly due to its more portable nature. It was much easier to grab one console with all your PSP and PS1 games, instead of having to carry your UMDs around everywhere. Unfortunately, after the shutdown of the PSP store, and due to the age of the PSP's Wi-Fi, buying a PSP Go is about the same as buying a paperweight in this day and age, as you can no longer add titles to a new console.
Or so I thought.
By using an older Wi-Fi router with its password removed, I was able to once again bring life back to my PSP Go and connect to the now shut down PSP store. In doing so, I found out that I was still able to download PSP and PS1 titles that I purchased in the past, which led me to further discover that you could still purchase some PSP titles on your PS3 or PS Vita, and then just download them through your download list in the now defunct PSP store.
Great success.
It was awesome to find out that after all of these years, there are still legal ways of enjoying an older all-digital console, allowing me to stay out of jail. Unfortunately, a lot of PSP games have already been delisted through time, and many of my favorite titles never even managed to make it to the PlayStation Store in the first place. Plus, once the PS Vita and the PS3 store shuts down, there would be no way to acquire these titles, which ultimately leaves us with only one real option to fully enjoy the console. Sony had an awesome and innovative console on their hands with the PSP Go, which offered the ultimate portability when it came to gaming. Unfortunately, the console was both ahead of its time, as well as behind with time. Consumers were not very fond of the all-digital path that the system went with at the time, and the lack of a UMD drive made the device undesirable to physical game collectors. With word of a successor to the PSP coming soon, people were also not enticed to switch to a new version of an older console, which had so many restrictions so late in the PSP's life cycle. Sales of the PSP Go show that either the consumers were not ready, or were simply not interested in what the PSP Go had to offer. The PSP Go was discontinued in April 2011 when manufacturing switched towards one of Sony's greatest failures, the PS Vita.
But luckily for us, Black Flag sailors have made it so easy to hack the PSP Go that now all of you can enjoy it the way it was intended to be. But I'm not going to do it with this one. Oh I think I just hacked it.